and welcome to our final episode of the podcast. That's it, the season's gone out after all that work, and I'm about to say who won. So if you don't know who won yet, click off this video and go and watch if you've clicked on this one accidentally, then stop it now because I'm about to reveal the winner. Yellow team are the winners!
Hey. Big L's for Nikki and Luke.
So Luke isn't with us.
I'm just going to sit in silence for the whole of this podcast. Nothing to say.
Yeah, Luke isn't with us. He last minute got called away to go and do some filming, so it is just the three of us again.
He's left me to deal with it on my own.
Yeah,
Couldn't face the music, could
exactly. He's that ashamed of his performance on the channel that he's given up and hasn't showed up. So obviously I've got Nikki and Lewis with me again to discuss. So we're going to go through blow by blow some behind the scenes bits of the finale. And then actually what I didn't put in my notes is talking about any potential of season 3, but we'll come on to that right at the end and where we are with that in a minute and all the what ifs and all that sort of stuff. So let's start with you guys, the purple team, rolling onto the Smiler and doing a little celebration at the end of episode 4. We've now found out that is because you roll into the Smiler, and the Smiler's of course owned by us, so our good luck continues over on the yellow team.
Yep.
Yeah, it was huge for us. I think because we had that I think it was even because we had that to start. That was our first one, and when you took it we were really gutted, so just to have that back just felt like a personal victory. So yeah, big celebrations there.
And when you did finally get it, the guy recognised you as well, didn't he? He knew you were taking it back.
Yeah, he did. He was really excited because he'd seen you steal it from us and then had seen us steal it back, so he felt like he was part of the game. So yeah, that was quite fun.
And then me and Lewis spend our first time in jail, which is, you know what, jail is so much fun when the other team pull it. It's so like, they're locked away now for half an hour. And the purple team had some luck as well. They got out, I think, after 2 rolls on one of them.
Yeah.
So we go to jail. And we're already like well behind by this point. And it's getting to the point of the day now. Was it like 3.5 hours left of the game, I think, at that point?
Yeah,
it wasn't long.
Left, yeah.
So we thought we'd spend that time talking about Free Willy.
Interesting facts, I'd say.
But they're not facts though, are they, Lewis? That's the only issue with that.
I've got a great fact about bananas, so you'll have to tune in for the next season if there is one to hear a great fact about bananas.
You can't dangle that banana. We want the banana fact now.
No, you can't have the banana fact now. Keeping that.
Yeah, but Lewis, whenever he tells this banana fact, he's always like, right, you got to dig it. It's a really long story. We're going to be here forever. It's really not. It's really not. He could probably tell it in like 30 seconds.
No.
Go on,
I'll get a good banana fact out.
No, I think we tease it in case we do another season. But the Free Willy one, I edited it down, if you can believe that. And also I did some fact checking. It said no fact checking happened, but some happened. And I ended up going down like a half an hour rabbit hole of trying to find out. Yeah, but I didn't want that when I was editing. I was under a lot of stress to get the season done. I just wanted to get the season done. So at the end, I just bottled it and just went, I'm just going to put a tag up here to say, I don't know if any of this is true. The whale at least lasted 18 months to 2 years and got all the way, I think, to like Norway or something like that. I don't know anything else. I know nothing more other than that. And even that is dodgy. So that's why the tag went up. And then we see a bit of foreshadowing. I would say some fantastic editing on my part. And weird. We do this this happens so many times through the game. So another example of this is on Nikki on the monorail, when she says, let's just stop the monorail for a bit. And the monorail just literally miraculously stops and they win that task, right? These things happen all the time. And also the fastest food challenge where we pull it, but earlier in the day Luke says, I really want he calls it the Burger King challenge because I'm hungry and I want something to eat, essentially. He wants a free meal, bless him. Hence why he couldn't be with us, because he had to take that pay. He didn't get paid for this, so he had to go and take that paid gig tonight. Yeah. Anyway, that happened, and then we gave him that task, And the amount of stars that had to align in order for that to happen was mental. But when we're in jail, we then do a little test juggle. We see Lewis flaunting his stuff.
Well, I'd like to point out that for some bizarre reason, we all kind of believed that I could juggle.
You believe that though, Lewis.
I never said once I could juggle. I said I can juggle with 2 things. I've never tried with 3, but I'll give it a go. And I feel like a lot of pressure was put on me then to become the clown.
Juggling with 2 things isn't juggling though, right? That's just throwing things and catching
I would
it.
say it is. I would say juggling
Absolutely,
with 2
Nicola.
things is I'm going to learn properly now for next season.
Yeah, but it won't be a task next season, so it won't matter.
I've heard
Unless the task
apparently
is
it definitely-
juggle properly.
It definitely, you need the proper like juggling balls that are like beanbags because it's hard to do it with like a foam
Are you
dice.
saying? I was going to say, you say my extremely lightweight and will blow away in the wind at any given opportunity dice
Yeah.
were not adequate.
No, I don't think they were.
The budget, we couldn't afford proper dice in the budget, so that's how it is. I said as if we actually had a budget. We really didn't. It just had a few donations, which again, very grateful for. But it did mean I had to hand draw the dice because that's all I could get my hands on. All I could get my hands on. What else have we got? So we see a bit of juggling. We see Lewis throw some dice in the air, and then he rolled a double. Well done, Lewis.
Classic. You needed one.
And that. Yeah, but we couldn't use it though because it wasn't on a 5-minute gap.
No.
Then you guys get the entrance monorail station.
Yeah.
Now this was actually, again, a bit behind the scenes. This was a bit confusing because on the sheet we put in the wrong monorail earlier in the day. So it wasn't immediately obvious that they were about to steal our station. We fixed it at this point, we knew it. But it did mean, after you stole that, it was 17-7.
Yeah.
That's the highest differential that I think it ever gets to. Or maybe
Yeah.
there's 16-8 at one point. Oh no, that'd be less. Yeah, so 17-7. A 10-star difference.
Bear in mind,
With-
that wasn't that close, like far away from the end of the game.
Yeah, it's like 2.5, 3 hours at this point.
Yeah.
Because we roll onto Nemesis, and by this point, like, we were literally like, we don't run everywhere. There's a few reasons for that. One, it's knackering to do that for 2 days. But also, a lot of the time we have to walk and explain things to the camera. So there's no rule against running. We can run if we want to, unless like the park said you can't run for any reason. But we just don't want 2 full days of shaky cam footage also trying to explain relatively complex things about strategy. So that's why we don't run everywhere. But yeah, we go to Nemesis and we get Nemesis again. The team on Nemesis had seen, so I'm not sure they're gonna like us too much for all the grief we give them over the empty riders on the first day.
Yeah, but the second day, their second day.
Second day, smashing it. Absolutely
I
smashing
can't
it.
remember the name of the girl who said hello to us, but she was talking to us in the front row, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was called Georgia, I think. I might have that wrong. And she said a few people had seen it, and she was jokingly, and I start explaining this in the video, and I get stopped because I see Lewis's reaction to the dice roll we've just done. I'm like, what? And then he says that, do you want to finish your story? I'm like, no, just tell me, and then all hell breaks loose. But she was jokingly trying to get people to speed up the train faster because I said, we're literally stealing this one. We need to get going. Let's get it going. But I said it as a jest. But she played around. But again, she said that quite a few of the staff on there had seen it and stuff, which is again very nice. I find it weird, but it's also very nice. So we come off Nemesis and we give them the task that we just discussed. We give them the fastest food. I think, and I stand by this, because we pull it and we both turn around to each other and go, okay, well, we can give them a task if we want to. And then something clicks, and I think this is a very good move on our part, and it might have genuinely really helped us win the game, because that task was always going to be risky, and also to chance. You could, but there's that could be quite easily to get wrong. I mean, 3 minutes is a big window actually, but I would compared to another task of, I don't know, what else was on there? Picture of a duck actually later on. Less risky picture of a duck. At some point they'll be able to do that. But if they want to do a task, that was quite a good one to give them a high risk of a lockout. And it just so happened that later on that happens. So that that was a slam dunk of giving that one to the other team. And at first we thought it was rubbish, but then we're like, oh, actually no, this is.
And even for us, so when we got that one, we were like, oh, that's fine, because we had just got the station, the Fountain Square station. So we were like, we're down there anyway. We've not had to like walk the other side of the park to get it. But actually, I think that lockout period was pretty detrimental. Like that, at the time, I don't think that ever kind of sunk in. But looking back and watching that last episode, every minute counted in that. So yeah, I think it ended up being pretty detrimental.
And you were so far. Well, I don't think it sunk in because you, at that point, towards that end of the game, you knew we'd just been to jail. We did Nemesis, which we stole. We then get a hex, which I'll come back to in a second, and then we hadn't gone to jail again yet, but you did know we'd also just had a hex. You know, we were in stargazing. So, and you were cruising at that point. I can't remember what the score was, but the score would have been. The score would have still been around 77, if not. You just.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think even it couldn't have gone higher. I can't remember. I remember something's off my math, but it was you were winning heavily, so it wasn't too much of a worry. I don't think.
No.
But yeah, then thanks to Lewis, we roll the hex.
You mean thanks to me? Did I roll the dice?
Just wanted to have a go at it, to be honest. Was it you rolled the dice? No, I think it was me. I think
It's
it was
always
me who
you.
rolled the
I've
dice.
said this in the vlog all the way through. It's always you that causes the problem when rolling the dice.
That's not true.
It is.
Absolutely not true. Nope. And actually, out of the two hexes, I think we did actually the better one, as much as it was annoying. Also, what I will say is the quickest I've ever seen Lewis walk. You can see in the footage, I'm quite a few paces behind him.
How long was the how long was the morning for?
You just had to go there on this one. You just had to go there. You didn't have to stay there for 10 minutes.
Those just go
You
to
could just-
and back. That would have been loads
Yeah.
better than stargazing.
Do you reckon? I don't think it would have been.
But where were we when we pulled it?
I suppose it would have been back in the park faster. I suppose there's an extra bit there. Yeah, okay. We were at Nemesis when we pulled it, so yeah, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. It's hard to tell.
Is it because we'd have to go and get the monorail? Oh, if we walked. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'd have gone out Galactica, get the monorail, go over to Corkscrew, do it there, and then enter the park.
Yeah,
back
but
that way.
that's still a fair walk to the monorail. I think it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, we get that one. Go to Stargazing for the second time, second series. That's nice. I did think it'd be funny if they had to go this time. I didn't want it to be. Obviously, it could be us. I didn't want it to be us. And then that's when Luke comes out with the key line. And he's not here to defend himself, so I'm going to give him a lot of grief for it. Basically, Nikki, we've won. Oh, I do like replaying that one. Being a sore winner, as Nikki has very much told everyone, I do love playing that clip. It just makes me feel it feels warm on the inside. Basically,
But think how I felt, because he said it and my heart dropped, because for me, you'd thrown the towel in. Something had happened where you were like, we physically can't come back from it. And because he looked at his phone, I think at the time my watch had vibrated, so I thought you'd sent a message into the group chat. So I thought genuinely that you'd messaged and gone, no, we're stopping the game. So then when he said that, I was like, oh, mate, doesn't mean that. Like, let's not get carried away. But yeah, that really frightened me. I was like, that's it, we've done it. I didn't realise he was just kind of being Luke.
Yeah, the cockiness we'll come on to, which is a funny little thing. But I mean, Luke has been doing that the whole game. And to be fair to Nikki, as much as I've given Nikki a bit of grief, Luke is by far the bigger perpetrator in that whole thing. So we. Oh, then you go and do your. Whilst we're doing that, we haven't rolled yet. But you go into Burger Kitchen.
Yeah.
Into the emptiest Burger Kitchen I think I've ever seen.
Honestly.
And with the fastest service I think I've ever seen at any Alton Towers unit I've ever seen in my life.
Was it hot? Was the food hot?
Yeah, I think it was. Because the weird thing was, I said to Luke, what we're going to need to do is no, but that was the thing. I said to Luke, I can't remember if it's in the video or not, I said we need to look at what's ready behind the counter, because if something's ready we can go with that and we could go for like a really quick time. And there was nothing. There was no burgers on there. There was nothing ready on the kind of like rack. So I was like, well, you need to give them time to like physically make something. So we kind of went, I thought maybe we'd gone too short. I don't know. I've never like timed how long stuff like that takes. Yeah, we're miles off. Service was brilliant for the one time. And I think Luke's face says it all when he picks it up. He goes to walk over like, that was really fast. And you can literally see in his face. He's like, yeah, it was really fast, mate, thanks.
That poor team member, and again, I do try and blur all the team members, particularly if they're far away, fine, but if they're quite close or in close, because it's not meant to be about their mother reaction or whatever they say or anything like that. But that's a really weird thing to say.
Yeah, I know.
So like, Luke was like, he was saying it for the camera. He was being a bit of a funny guy, wasn't he? Then at that point, but like, so that Paul was like, yeah, it was decent speed because I'm good. I'm half good at my job.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very weird thing for Luke to say. Well, he was saying it for the benefit of us rather than anything else, I think. But
he was just happy to be fed. That's all that was on his mind after that. He was like, you know what? I've got my burger now. I'm going to sit in the sunshine and I'm going to eat my burger. He was happy.
With your duck.
Oh, glaze. Oh, that was the most beautiful duck I've ever seen. He was like shimmering in the sunshine. He was having a great time. And he was just watching us the whole time.
Why was he glazed?
I think Luke was making reference to like glazed duck that you'd like eat.
Oh,
I think is what.
Okay.
I think that's what Luke was referencing to. Because you hear me click what he's on about, and I'm like, oh, I don't like that. But yeah, it just stuck. So I think that's where it came from.
What's really weird is we didn't get locked out. Why were we doing challenges there last season at the end? Because
definitely like cards. I remember building cards.
Yeah, but we didn't get locked out there, did we though? Or did we? Did we? Because we were eating onion rings at one point.
We had to get. I
can't remember.
Either way, we had to get mozzarella sticks and eat some cheese at some point, and I can't remember why we got.
Oh yeah, maybe. No, we didn't. We got chips and cheese, so we didn't do that either. But my point is that duck. We've definitely seen that. I don't know if it's the same duck, but what's so odd about that is on that very like almost identical bench in that very specific spot of Alton Towers, we sat there last time and we did a task there, and we literally turned the camera around and there's a duck just staring, literally just one singular male duck just sat there.
I hope it's the same one.
So you got to see Glaze. Well, it's good to have one, isn't it? I think people should send us pictures of Glaze. Only sat at Burger Kitchen. That's his hangout. So
yeah, go and see him. Give him a hello. Don't chase him or anything. Just let him be. But say hello.
Then we roll the dice over at the Stargazing, and our world. I'm not gonna lie. I genuinely. I'll never give up. If there's a chance, I'll never give up, right? I will never just throw a towel in unless it's like 10 minutes to go and right. It's obviously we can't get any of the queues now. They're all like an hour long. We're definitely not going to do that. Whatever. Okay, maybe at that point, but if there's a chance, and we know the powers cards were designed to keep the game at least possible to the end. But when we rolled that, you can hear it in my voice. I'm like, no, and I literally get more angry because I've been angry for the past half an hour, and it's quite good actually with the way the dice rolls work, because Lewis knows and the audience know a split second, because obviously the graphic, before I have a real in-world reaction. And as soon as that you see it, and I was like, I'm filming myself, but like I can't even bother to hold the camera up properly. I'm just like, how do we're going to be locked away now for up to half an hour.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I just thought,
we've got to get there. We've got to get there from the stargazing pots as well.
Yes, we can't even start rolling until we get there, and that's going to take. I think it took us 22 minutes in all, so we got one roll whilst we were there before we had to then, or two. I remember, it's a bit sure. I can't remember, but I was like, And then it occurred to me, like, they're going to get notification now of, they're going to see where we've moved to. And I was like, oh, just imagine their faces. And it was exactly what I thought it would be as soon as it got to the other side. And Luke does this thing, and he won't admit to it. I mean, Nikki, fair play, she just laughed out loud. She loved life. She loved it, right? Which is rare for Nikki. It's not the opposite way. If you watch that clip back of Luke goes to laugh. Because Nikki doesn't laugh instantly, he goes, oh, and covers his face, because he's smirking. And then Nikki then just laughs, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But yeah, I mean, again, for the video, as a video and as a bit of like storytelling, obviously we knew what the ending would be. We didn't know that at the time, but like obviously we know what the ending would be. And at this point, I'm having to, or I did try to do a little bit. It's hard because Nikki's the happiest person on the channel, right? It's very hard for Nikki to have a bad day, right? And Lewis is somewhere like he's a bit too chill, doesn't really care. There's a game going on, he'll be involved if someone tells him what's going on, right? Luke's quite competitive, and I'm probably Mr. Angry on the, you know, on the balance of all the characters on the show, if you will. So it's very hard to dress up the other team, the purple team, particularly because they lost last year. To dress them up as the bad guys, as the evil villains of the piece. He certainly was the villain of the piece. But from a story perspective, even if we didn't win, right? Even if we didn't get to the end and actually get enough, if we could make it, we don't do it for this. We played to win. Otherwise, what's the point, right? But I said, well, we've got to try. And if it gets close, then at least then I can, you know, they might root for us being the underdogs. But on the whole, Nikki will have she's already got so much sympathy because of last year, and she's quite positively minded. So I had to try and do something to make them look like the bad guys.
I'm so glad that you've admitted that and I haven't had to accuse you of it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you can say that I tried to edit it to look like the villain, because then I don't have to say it. You've said it yourself.
But you did. But I'll say I did try and we poke fun of it, like, because the banter's part of it.
Yeah, because we're all friends, and that's what our friendship's like as well in real life.
And we do want to win, and we do want to win. And Nikki was gung ho this year because she lost last year. So, like, and Luke just wants to win anyway, just to destroy me more than anything. So, but doing the montage it did kind of, and also that cockiness. And I know the purple team argue this to the hills. That was not in our camera footage. You will not find us. No. Slamming the yellow team all the time.
We're too busy also walking back and forth to like prison and Postman Pat.
But I think that's it as well, because when you look at it, a lot of the way through, we were winning a lot of the game.
Exactly.
So and that's right. Why the kind of cockiness comes from us more than them, because we were doing generally better for the majority of the game.
Yeah. So clips wise, I didn't even include them all. There were so many clips to choose from. Obviously I only include clips that you've seen, but the stuff that I cut out, which could have easily gone in there. It could have been a 4-minute, 5-minute montage. But then I didn't want to be too horrible, so I was like, we then literally cut to Nikki still being nice and then thanking everyone for, you know, donating last season, all that sort of stuff. So, but it was to kind of hopefully put some people. Oh, you know what? Come on! I hope they put a fight up to it, or they don't. You know, they have a bit of a comeback. But in the real world, not in the post-production world, I just thought we were absolutely goosed. And then as we're walking outside the Alton Towers hotel, or Splash Landings hotel, I'm like, right, we got it. We can do it, actually. And then Lewis is like, it's a picture of trust with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah. And I start thinking, well, we could, if we do this and this, we can tie. Until we're then sat on the monorail and you're like, yeah, we have 8, they have 16, or whatever, I can't remember what the numbers are.
Yeah, I think it was.
I was like, no, we have 8. And I was getting angry because I didn't understand what was going on. I was like, oh, so we need more than what? We need 2 big rides, and it's never going to happen at this rate. So yeah, I think there was by the time we get to jail, no, but I think there's about an hour left. We stop at 4:30 on this day, so it's about 3:30 when we're on the monorail, because I remember getting really aggy about the fact the monorail wasn't moving. And then obviously we make that joke about you going, if you run against this now, you could walk it. I was like, yeah, you did. Which is, I was quite proud of that line, to be honest. But yeah, so we go to jail, and we think the best we can do is a tie, but we've got loads of tickets. We've got a big chunk of tickets, so I thought we're probably going to win on tickets, to be fair, if we can somehow miraculously get to a tie. So we get to jail. We don't roll a double. We're just in for the rest of it.
Naturally, we don't roll a double.
Because our luck is tip top by this point. We're really tuned in to the world. And then what I call the finale starts, as in like the final 15 minutes of the chaos, and it was chaos.
Yeah.
So much so that on the viewing we all did, well, I say we all, like us lot just did, halfway through, the tickets made no sense. As in, like, one person was watching going, they didn't just pay rent to them. I panicked that we all sort of panicked. Well, Nikki was very crossing her fingers, to be fair. Nikki and Luke were like, hold on. Hold on. And it turns out I made a scoring mistake in episode, I think it was episode 2. And that had gone on through all the episodes that we had. So we've gone back, and because we're working off a sheet and everything was so chaotic, we have gone through so many times and watched through and made sure, because the scoring it's not like season 1 where it was nice and easy. It was all over the place.
Very complicated.
You lose tickets for a dice roll, but you gain the tickets. Your tickets will actually go up by 10 if you pass go, and only if you pass go. Then you got to pay all the rent. Then you might land on another squares, just deduct you another 30 tickets or whatever. So the last 15 minutes uses our specially soundtracked music composed for us. So that in the Hold Mountain King that you hear on the trailer, this is used in layers for this. Now I will say this, sound isn't my strong point. You'll notice that when you listen to the whole show. One day if someone could come on board with it and be a sound, just do all the sound for us to make it sound better, that'd be amazing. But yeah, when they sent over all the soundtracks, they are all individually layered, so you can choose instruments, and then so it starts off the moment we roll onto Marauders, because that is the one ride. Well, it's one of the rides where actually that would kill their bonus star, and it gives us a fighting chance because they're going to lose 2, we're going to gain 2. And then we just needed to get on Wicker Man to get a tie. That might be wrong off the top of my head, but I think that was right. Because we're trying to desperately get Wicker Man, and we keep either rolling just before it or after it. So you guys get your duck. Let's talk about what the other team are doing for a sec before we start on our chaos. So the music. The music. So the music gets more and more mental as we start getting more and more crazy in the game. So every time there's a next big thing, another instrument will come in and it'll build to the point where the end is just massively over the top and high drama and cheat and a bit.
You have done a fantastic job with it. As being as you say that you're not good at audio, you did a fantastic job with that.
What I mean by audio is like making sure levels are perfect, or that's what I mean by audio.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm okay at sort of going, well, this is a big hitting point, so it needs to be here. I understand that, but actually mixing audio, like you can just tell anyone who with an ear for it will tell that this isn't mixed fantastically. My things are in the editing, less so about in the actual audio. So yeah, the instruments come in, and then there's a great moment. And it comes when we pull the final task, which is the poem. And I know I'm jumping a bit in between here, but we've been building. And then we pull out every instrument except for this ridiculously strong horn. It's like a really over-the-top epic horn. And just as we pull it, it's like, I think it's like 8 bars. And it's just obviously repeated. And then as soon as we start, then it all starts to come back in again whilst we're trying to create it. And Lewis, by the way, is working against me at this point. You can't write anything with that. that doesn't rhyme. Genuinely,
I'm not
whose
sit
team
here
you
and
got?
say that I know how to write a poem, but I didn't think I could rhyme certain words with certain
We
words.
literally said 2.5, 3 minutes. I'm very proud of that. Weirdly, I've got this weird thing that I'm pretty good at thinking of rhymes
You are.
and stupid. Like if there's a song that I'm listening to, I can write a parody very quickly in my head to spill onto the lines instantly and start.
hidden talent.
Look around the ground. Yeah, what a talent to have. It's not
We've
really
heard
got
it
me that far
many
in life, to be
times
honest.
on a theme park trip, road trip. We've heard you do it many
Yeah.
times. You can do it very quickly.
So that was that was a fun one to get. So yeah, I've jumped. I just wanted to like really speak highly of the guy. I can't remember his name now. Who did the music for us? I think it was a gig on Fiverr or something like that. But we sent it away, and it's through donations that we've been able to do that slightly bit of higher production value stuff.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't have been able to without that. And he did it for like almost nothing compared to what you'd normally pay for someone to do it. So appreciate that so much, and it just gives it a lot more gravity, and the fact it's everyone associates in the whole of the Mountain King with Alton Towers,
Yeah.
and so it's nice to kind of, and it wraps around from like the trailer to now the finale. Like the reason why I didn't use it in any other episode, I did at first. I was like, actually no, let's just save it.
Save it for the end.
And have this 15-minute sequence at the end. Yeah. So you guys get your duck, Glaze's cousins.
Yeah.
And then, so the reason why they go and run and get the duck is because they're unaware. You didn't check, because of, again, how fast everything was happening. They could have just gone straight to the curse. I mean, to be fair, you lost no time because it's on your way to the curse.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the reason, because they got the task and obviously got very giddy to the point where you could hardly show it to the camera. But they hadn't checked on the sheet that you'd now been paid rent by us, because we paid the rent as we were already walking, which is fair game. You go onto the curse.
I just want to, before you do that, I want to talk about that, because I think this was a big moment for me and Luke when we were walking to the curse. That was the point for me and Luke where we had conversations, and all the way through it looked like we were winning. Like, it did for a long time, and that was the first time that me and Luke were kind of like, I can't see how they can come back. We were having conversations about trying to, and some of it's in there, but obviously the conversations were much longer, trying to have conversations of how can they win. We couldn't work it out. And I said, and there was always that inkling of like, there could be a card in there, and I think I say it, there could be a card in there that we've not thought about that means that they can win. And that was the point for us. Bear in mind, I think, there was only about 20 minutes left of the game at this point.
Oh yeah, it was in. I can't
long.
remember off the top of my head.
So for
the
us,
clock you see on.
Go on, Stu.
Well, I was just saying the clock. So there's a clock on screen which gives a countdown for how long's left.
Yeah.
And that is it's as accurate as it can be. There is slight deviations in that, but it is like, so I go off the end time of each video clip. Because when you record a video on an iPhone, when it saves the file, it gives it a timestamp. So I went to the end of each clip and found out when that was, and did my best to match up. It's not perfect, with a bit of behind the scenes honesty, but it's very right at the end the time is exactly right, because obviously we reference it. It was within the final minute. So it wasn't much left at all, but you did nail it, and it's because you also got that card, didn't you? Which you couldn't use because it's thrown a bone that you got.
Yeah,
so
but even with
suddenly
that
became
card,
very aware of it.
In our head, we hadn't kind of thought that you could even win with that card, because obviously we didn't think about kind of like Marauders and the star that we'd loot. Even if you'd have got that card, to us we were like, well, they're still not. And there was 20 minutes left, so we're like, they probably can't even jump onto something small to steal like a little stock, because there is literally 20 minutes left. It's going to have to be like a walk-on queue somewhere. So I think that was the sad part, that even though we didn't want to admit it straight out the bat, because we were still had that little voice going something could still happen, we were pretty set, like, I don't know what can happen here. Like, I feel like we've won it and that's it.
Yeah, it's so many things had to happen in order for us to win. And it's quite funny because the thing you literally say in the video when you're outside Burger Kitchen, you're like, I know Luke says it. They'd have to pull off a miracle to win now. That's how he speaks. And that did happen in a way because, and I don't just mean about the card pull. The card pull's obviously the biggest thing that happened. Getting the educated trade meant, because like that didn't just mean we got Wicker Man. We also had to have had Marauders to then have the bonus star. And then we also then had to get Tower Street Skyride, which just happened to be the closest physical ride in the game to us, which we also didn't have to ride because it was closed. So we got the rule where we could just literally go to the entrance. The poem needed a scenic backdrop, so that would have meant something probably towards the gardens or like overlooking, maybe Wicker Man we could have used for that, to be fair, in the background. And you being tied up for those 5-6 minutes on Curse, not knowing what was going on. Now you did have to do that because you needed to get that star back because you started losing momentarily. So you would have had to do that. And you did only get onto the Curse because you got that extra free dice roll. But you being tied up in the game there for those 5 or 6 minutes, when you come out, you're like, it's 12-12.
Everything had changed. From when we stepped into the queue to when we got off. I remember Luke saying, and we didn't know what happened. We just looked at the spreadsheet and the scores, and from when we got on Curse to when we got off, everything had changed, and we had no idea what happened. Literally not a clue.
And the card pull was the biggest. I mean, we looked like absolute crazy people, Lewis, didn't we? Like, because the footage is not great in that. From my point of view, I am in full-blown panic mode. I can't even get my points across to Lewis because Lewis is like, "What away mine train?" I'm like, "We can't do it. We have to steal it." I don't mean steal it.
You were doing things faster than I could input them on the spreadsheet. So he was rolling dice, pulling cards, claiming things, swapping things, paying rent, and I was like, I can't keep up with all this information that I'm just smashing through.
I think that's unfair. I would literally hold the dice ready to roll.
Oh yeah, but like I felt like I was going as fast as I could, but also not fast enough to get through as much as what we needed to do.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like I need to do this fast enough to get you through the next section of what you need to do.
We couldn't, because it takes about 10-ish, 15 seconds for just a dice roll with nothing else to log that. Let's log it. And
let's log it.
And it was the only time in the game where we rolled so many times we used all of our tickets. And this is the thing as well, right? Having that bank of tickets from episode 2 into 3, or 3 into episode 3, I think it was. Having that day of just giving ourselves loads and loads of tickets meant we could just keep rolling. Because even the big rent, we paid some big... I mean, they might have won it just on rent that we paid them if we hadn't have rolled it. Because I think Luke even says that, like, if we win now, it's because we've got so many tickets from them paying us rent. So yeah, like, it was a bit crazy. And we're literally in a corner, just rolling on a bench in Mutiny Bay area. Literally just looking like absolute nutcase. What we must have thought?
What on earth are we doing?
Yeah, it did look very, very strange. Roller crazy, and then we get the educated trade card, and not just that. We also we needed the extra tickets from Go to the Park entrance. Now the card for Go to the Park entrance just means our place on the board. It doesn't actually mean physically. Now, it's quite weird, but remember when we got sent to Fountain Square?
Yeah.
Episode 2, I think. On that card, it specifically says go to Fountain Square. But you don't see that in the episode because that's the clip that I wasn't filming for. But yeah, on that card, it says you have to physically go there. But on the other one, it's just you got to move your place. And we got an extra 20 tickets from that, which then meant we could do that final roll, even though, and another funny bit is when Lewis gets annoyed that we've had to now pay rent on Octonauts, which we've just given them.
Yeah.
That's theirs now! But that's the thing.
It was more the fact that now I've got to fill something else into the spreadsheet. I've got to pay the rent for a ride I've just given them.
Yeah, and then we do that, because in our heads we're like, we have to go and steal Curse. And I don't know, it never really gets explained in the footage, even the footage that didn't go into the program. Like, I don't really understand why we rolled again. I think we must have thought our only way was to get on the curse because we knew the curse wouldn't have a big queue. But that was pretty. I don't even know if we could have got to the curse from Wicker Man. No, from Tower Street Skyride. I don't think we would have done.
Not in the time.
So that's been an odd thing to do, is to roll. And then I think we're left with either almost no tickets or no tickets. So we realised that it's 12-12 because you'd have updated the spreadsheet now with the curse.
Yes.
Nikki.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That we just have to pull a task, and then once again, Lewis with his pessimism. We're not going to be able to do a task now. It's like, you don't know what's going to come up, Lewis. So we need to pull the task to just see what we get. Maybe we can't do the task. I mean, there's lots of tasks we couldn't have done. We couldn't have done. Or make a paper airplane. That would have been. We wouldn't have got that one, but like if that was the first time that came up, we wouldn't have been able to do it. But then we get juggle, which some would argue we still can't do.
You still can't do it. I never said I could do it in the first place.
No, I meant the fact that we at least tried this time.
Yeah.
I think I was as fair as possible. We actually end up juggling for way longer. So on the clock that you see on screen, it counts from every time a ball leaves Lewis's hand to him catching it. And if he drops it, and if he keeps going, it keeps going. If he drops it, it stops. And the reason why I put the clock on screen is because we actually do it for way longer than we need to. Because obviously I'm counting out loud, aren't I? I'm not actually timing it properly because it would have been impossible to time it properly. And again, we go back to our spirit of the game stuff. Like, we tried to do it for a minute. That's exactly how the task was intended. Yeah. Whether that's been because we're filming this just as episode 2 is being released. No, episode 1's gone public, so people might be really not happy with us for the juggling. Say us. Blame Lewis.
Well, it made me laugh because we watched the final episode all together. So the first time me, Lewis, and Luke watched the final episode, we were all in the same room. And as that bit came on, they both just looked over at me and Luke. He was like, "Go on, say something." And Luke got a little bit. He started to go a little bit like, "That's not juggling," and I was like, "You know what? I couldn't have done any better than that, to be fair." So I had no issue with it, and I think Luke didn't in the end.
I never said I could juggle.
Yeah, but I don't think Nicky's having a go at you for that. I think Nicky's just saying
no. Just like I'm saying, like if
member.
People start saying that's not juggling, I think Lewis and Stuart expected me and Luke to have an issue with the juggling. Yeah. But to be fair, it's a tough one, and I don't think I could have done any better.
It's a long 60 seconds to watch a fully grown man at Alton Towers next to a closed sky ride juggle 3 very lightweight dice. A long time to do it. And then, so we get those tickets. But even then, they're still in the lead. We knew that. So we knew we had to do... And again, it's one of them where we had something like 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left, and we pull the poem task. Now, you might not have noticed this, but... if you actually look at what I like about doing stuff like this, and if you like the behind the scenes stuff, in the graphic on the very first episode, when I explain all the rules with the 3D graphics, the task that you see pop up as an example, write a poem. It's literally the first task you see, and it's the last task which gets played in the game. And I'm pretty sure we did the same by accident, I think, the first time, with Duck Hunt, because Duck Hunt was also the last thing to be pulled last year. Which is quite nice that Duck Hunt 2 came up, actually, because, in case you're wondering, every season that we do, Duck Hunt will go up by an extra duck, and you have to get it in the same photograph. So
what if we're somewhere that just doesn't have any ducks?
That's it, or it's winter. We do winter
is it going to be a real duck, or can it be like a fake duck?
I don't think it does. I think it can be. I think in series 1 it definitely could. It could have been a teddy duck. So, and then we go and write. So we write a few lines of the poem, and then I keep the poem a secret until we run over to our. Again, luckily you couldn't ask for a better finish. We're actually on the lawns. I mean, that's great. Where we started, it's quite a nice thing to do. And we read it out literally as they are confused. What on earth is happening? That's the thing, is that they thought, because we'd roll onto Octonauts.
Yeah, should I go through our thought? Because If you just because your poem task leads quite nicely onto the ending. So if we just go back slightly, there's going to be a lot of questions, I think, about why me and Luke didn't pull a task. There are loads of reasons as to why that was the case. Firstly, you've got to think when we came off Curse, we were trying to work out for a good few minutes what on earth had happened, because we couldn't work out what was going on. Genuinely, at one point, me and Luke were like, has something gone wrong? And do we need to ring them and say, has something gone wrong with the game? Because that doesn't feel possible. Managed to get our head kind of around what had gone on, but we still didn't really know. So when you looked at the scores, at that point we were obviously tied, but me and Luke were quite far in the lead on tickets. So me and Luke, firstly, didn't want to take any tasks because then it could potentially have a negative effect on us, and we were in the lead. We didn't want to be pulled back from the lead. There's a task just to confirm with like there's a task that's just you lose your phone, you lose 50 tickets. Yeah. You lose your phone on a roller coaster, lose 50 tickets. Yeah. And that could have cost them the game. It's not actually lose your phone.
Point that out, not lobbing your phone off the side of Oblivion.
No. That's not the task. No. It's just an instant loss, an instant killer. The reason why that task was a last edition as well, because we needed ways of taking tickets out of the game, which weren't dice rolls, because we kept on getting loads of tickets from when we did the testing, going around past Go. We were actually generating. It didn't really work like that in real life, but we were generating loads of extra tickets in the game to the point where we never needed to do tasks. Yeah. So we needed to put these pitfalls in to kind of trip people up, and that was one of them. And it hadn't come up in the game, so there's a chance it could.
Yeah, so there's a big chance of that, and then you've got to think as well. A lot of the tasks, I'd say the majority of the tasks in that bundle take time. And when you look at how much time was left, me and Luke were like, they're only going to have a chance to do one task and we will still be in the lead. Like, the chance of them actually getting in front of us on tasks was quite slim. So we were kind of like, we need to just stay where we are and kind of just hope. And then the other thing, they'd landed on Octonauts, and me and Luke had a conversation where we're like, it might be more likely that they, at this time of the day, they'll be able to just walk onto Octonauts, get that star, and win that way. And that felt more likely than doing two tasks. So we thought that's what they were going to do. And then we looked at the queue times, we weren't sure what they were doing. And then there was a bit of a confusion. So I'd said to Luke, which I think you'll enjoy this, Stuart, I'd said to Luke, they need to be at the air gates by the end of the day to be able to claim the star for Octonauts. Luke thought the air gates was the front turnstiles. So Luke then thought that we had to be at the front turnstiles by 4:30, and we were by Curse and only had 6 minutes. So Luke was rushing me towards them, saying, we need to get there. And I didn't know why. And it turns out that Luke thought we needed to be at the front of Alton Towers for 4:30.
The park.
Yeah, he thought that. So there was a miscommunication with me and Luke. Right. So Luke was like dragging me, and I think you hear me right at the end when I say to Luke, Luke, I told you we should have done a task. And that was what that was about. I was saying, Luke, let's just pull a task and see what it is. And he was like, no, we need to get to the front gate. And I was like, I don't understand why. Like, what are we doing? And it was a bit of a miscommunication as well. So all of that combined, we panicked and just went, let's just leave it because we are winning, and we didn't think they'd be able to do it.
I mean, like I said, the only way you would have lost is if we could do a task in 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Which we did.
Yes.
You did two, didn't you?
Not in 3.5. No. We had about 10 minutes. Can't remember. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. But we never even thought about going over to Octonauts, did we? I don't think we in any of the footage. We never. You pay the rent, and I'm like, let's do a task.
What time of the day was it? What time of the day was it? It wasn't shut, was it?
It was still open because me and Luke checked the queue time for it. It was 4:30, and I don't think CBeebies. I think the park shut earlier that day.
It should have 5.
Yeah, so I think CBeebies stays open till 5, doesn't it? So
I don't
it
think
was
open.
open.
Crossed our mind to go down there. I don't think we thought, maybe we should go down to Octonauts or whatever. But
No, we didn't. We literally. I think then we saw the sheet and gone, oh, actually, it's 12:12. We can just try and do a task. Or maybe we checked the queue times, but in the footage, I don't remember seeing it.
No, maybe.
So yeah. So we do the poem, which is a lovely way to end the montage, particularly because the poem is also about the other team and it's about the game. So it's quite a nice way to end it. And they are literally running over to us, and we hear them. And you can see, I think I put my hand up because we're still doing our task.
Yeah, because we didn't know that's what they were doing.
Give us a second.
Yeah.
Could hear you squawking in the background. What are they doing?
That panic.
What are they doing?
They're trying to get tickets. They're trying to get tickets. And then Luke's like, but how many tickets? So we do that, and then what happens then is it's cut down because it then goes to, in the video it goes to a graphic. But then what happens is about 30 seconds to a minute of the most tense, like Lewis is entering the sheet, and everything. It can't be that long actually because it had to be entered before the time was up.
Yeah.
So, and Nikki's trying to go, what's going on? And Lewis is like, we're doing a task.
Yeah.
he's trying to do his spreadsheet. And then, he enters it. And then Lewis literally celebrates by going, 70 tickets! And then, so we celebrate and we have that moment of, and it is kind of it's over now, it's finished. And it is a stressful, and you can see it on Luke. Nikki's reaction's very genuine, and Luke is just beaten on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
But there was part of me which is like, we need to check the sheet because I'm happy, but like we need to just make sure we've got everything right on that sheet. And we go through it a little bit as best we can. Then it appears like no, and also because I think the gap was 20 tickets, so we knew like, well, even if you've got 10 tickets wrong, we definitely have one, but we still need to make sure because we need to film the outro today, so it needs to be correct.
But even like a missed rent would have mean it was a draw because it would be 10 tickets not taken from one. So it really, one lot of rent not paid would have changed the whole game.
Yeah, absolutely. So, which was the problem when I mentioned about the problem earlier, is one rent had been missed. So everything was off balance on the scoreboard. On the video, not in real life. So we do that and we confirm that it is right, and I still never quite believed it till I literally sat and went through every bit of the sheet when I got home and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we then nipped. There's loads of behind the scenes footage of this, like loads. We filmed pretty much all of it because Nicky and Luke were devastated. I think you pull another task as well, don't you, just to see what task?
Yeah, and it was one that I can't remember what it was, but I remember it being something that we would never have got done. Like I remember it being something that we wouldn't have had time to have done, which made us feel a bit better.
We then go to the shop and we buy this year's prize.
Yes.
Have you got your prize there, Lewis?
Yeah, but I've not filled it in yet.
You have to. What do you mean yet? As if you're ever going to.
He's still colouring in. He's still colouring in the first colouring book from last year.
Oh, he's a big boy now, isn't he?
This is my prize one that I won for this season. But I've only done that so far on my other colouring book.
Oh, is it? I didn't realise there's another Alton Towers colouring book.
Yeah, they've got a second one this year.
Drawn that bit.
Right, okay.
Done that so
well,
far.
I'd have taken that prize
That's
then.
as far as I've got.
This feels like, on TikTok when you're like, this is my boyfriend, be nice about his colouring in.
But this is the second one, but I haven't started that yet. This is my prize.
Okay.
You got the towel season one, didn't you?
I got the towel, yeah. I don't know where the towel is at the minute. But, yeah, it's here somewhere. But I like our little prizes. What prize have you got, Nikki?
You know what? I will put my hands up and admit, last year, I was like, you know what? I felt like I won with grace. And I was like, you know what? Fair enough. It was well worth, fine, get it. This time, absolutely no grace. And I still don't regret it to now because it was literally ripped from under us like 20 minutes before. So I couldn't be happy for them. I just couldn't. I didn't have it in me. I wasn't happy for them.
like I said, we walked to the shop and then walked all the way back to the right of the front of the lawns or the bottom of the lawns to do the outro, and they were still just fuming, like absolutely fuming for the entirety of it. And also, I'd be the same though. If it was that close and I'd lost it, I'd be mortified.
It was devastating. Like, we were genuinely devastated. I can't believe how strongly we both felt about it, but we were genuinely devastated. And also, you've got to remember, we still didn't know how it had happened because we didn't have time to go through it bit by bit. So it wasn't really until we'd had a debrief, like after we'd filmed the outro, that me and Luke actually understood what happened. So we were still angry because we were like, we still don't know how that's happened. But yeah, I am slightly over it now, but I am out for blood. So season 3.
Oh, nice
segue.
Nice segue into that. So yeah, so here's the thing with season 3, right? It takes so much time to do it. To just be honest, like I love doing it. I love sitting down and editing it, and I sit in hysterics sometimes. Because obviously it's very different for me watching it because obviously we're all friends, and some of the stuff I find stuff funny which most people won't find funny. But I remember the first time I edited the Make a Balloon Pet footage and just started, and that footage is long, like 15 minutes of one shot of utter nonsense happening. And I just sat here in hysterics. And I do love doing it, but it does take up so much time. And it does really depend on the success of so we've released the first video. It's on something like 4,500 views at the minute. And obviously season 1, the first video did 16,000 views. And I don't want to be obsessed with that because it's YouTube. I mean, who knows, right? Who knows? But at the end of the day, if it doesn't get pushed or it doesn't get, and I don't think it's on one person. I can ask people to help and subscribe and stuff and like the video, and people have done. I said this before, but I've got a vlogging channel. I've had that for a few years, 3 years, 4 years, I don't know. And we're steadily, I'm up to I think 3,000 subscribers on that. And that's taken a long time. The fact that 2,000 people have subscribed already to this is insane. And I am incredibly grateful. Of course I am. But they do cost a lot of money to make. And we do always want to try and, I don't say every game won't always get bigger. It doesn't always have to get bigger. It just needs to be different. I like doing different style games. I really like doing different, I don't mind going back and playing old ones at different places. I'm absolutely fine for that as well. But I do part of the creative process happens weeks, months before when we're coming up with a game to play and we test it and all that sort of stuff. The actual playing the game days, they're fine, just 2 days. They actually take very little time, but they're very high stress. It's then the post-production, and obviously I've got to fit that around all the work, all the jobs and stuff, and everything else that goes with it. So what does kind of spur us on is the fact that so many people do watch it. And what we're seeing this time is the views aren't just, because I don't know if anyone knows, but YouTube counts a view if you watch it for 2 seconds. But our views are people are watching it, and you see people, even with this season, when we released episode 1, people are going now back to season 1, and you can see them making their way through the video. It's just how YouTube analytics work, which again is incredible. But it wouldn't have been possible. This one wouldn't have been possible because of how much it costs. Without the donations from the first season, and without people watching. You've got to remember as well, because we had less than 1,000 subscribers for the first episode, for the first few episodes, we don't get any ad revenue from the first. We do now, but obviously when it had its big push, we got 16,000 people watching the first one. That could have provided enough ad revenue to go and do another one and stuff. So it is people becoming members. Now, it's the thing with the members. This is the last video now that will come out for a while. And I think it's wrong, really, of us to ask people to stay a member whilst we're not. Yeah. There's no plan.
Yeah, definitely.
There's no guaranteed plan of a new series. So I can't ask for people to do that. They should cancel their. I don't know if I can do it from my side. Maybe there's a way. I'll look into that. But I'd probably cancel everyone's, and then as soon as we've got a firm date, or we're definitely doing season 3, if they want to support us from earlier, they can. Brilliant. So that's the sort of negative stuff, because it really does depend on how YouTube wants to push it. It just really does, right? It's just a matter of fact. It's hard to get away from that. But that said, I have been talking to a few parks. Alton Towers, I couldn't even get them to respond to an email to me. the first few episodes of this season, they didn't come off the best, let's be honest. But the rest of the season, we had the best day ever on day 2. It's absolutely incredible. So, but I don't know if the Alton Towers, if anyone was watching from there, I don't know if they'll watch that far. After we start hitting them with a closed ride update in episode 2. But we've been talking to some other parks. I don't mention them yet because it might not happen. And there's one park in particular where we would love to do it there. We do want to take it abroad. I've got ideas for games at all sorts of parks. Obviously, the dream for us would be the Europa Park or Efteling, and just take it abroad, do something bigger that way. Probably wouldn't be for season 3 unless one of the videos takes off and we've got a bigger budget to work with. When I say we're working with a budget, I still pay for most of the stuff. It helps a little bit towards the season. I do it because we all do it because we love it. We don't earn anything from it. It'd be lovely for this to be with a full-time job.
Can you imagine?
And this is the only thing we do. I'd love that. But yeah, it just depends on that. So, but also the park particularly the one park I'm talking to, which is UK based. I think they would help. They've already said what they'd be able to. It's the point where I'm having phone calls with them and stuff like that, which is ridiculous. From just running around, being absolute idiots in a theme park. But in a world full of vlogs, of which I produce these vlogs as well, where we moan a lot and we criticise a lot. It's quite nice, and this is what the comments have said. Like, it's just nice to have something a bit different, and us being idiots. It's meant to be funny. It's meant to be silly, and also if ride closures happen, it's part of our game. CBeebies Land's closing at 5. Yes, get in. Do you know what I mean? So it's an odd thing for us to do, but so that's season 3. If we did it, we'd film it in summer. It'd probably come out towards, I don't know what, 2027, 2028.
Universal might be over by the time season 3 comes out.
yeah.
That's season 4
will be at Universal. Yeah. But yeah, that's just honesty with the new season, because I know that's going to be the question when this video releases. But if we can do it, we will do it. And equally, if you think you can help in any way, are you an editor? Just having someone who can do bits and you're happy to give up some free time doing stuff, like, let us know what you can do.
Because me and Lewis are constantly trying to convince Stuart, like, me and Lewis are, like, me particularly, I'm very much for season 3. But I can't contribute.
I want to do it.
I know.
Absolutely.
But what I'm saying is like, Stuart knows the work that goes into it. We not as much. And I've said to Stuart, teach me how to do stuff and I'll do it. But I don't have that skill set that Stuart's had for years and years and years, where I can try and help as much as I can, but my standards aren't up to where Stuart's are. So we are trying to kind of work out how, like, Lewis has obviously helped with the podcast stuff this year, but how we can help a little bit more.
The podcast wouldn't exist without Lewis doing it, to be honest, because I make the proxies for him and then he just does it.
I do that.
So yeah, this wouldn't exist, because I'm still editing. As at this point, I'm still fixing all the graphics, which are wrong for the finale at the minute, with all the wrong scoring from the previous one. So yeah, I thought, put the message out there. The email address is on the website, themepark-.co.uk, I think.
And also keep an eye on the posts as well, because, like, you might not be able to help, but if we do a season 3, we might be a case of, like, we do a community ask again if we need community challenges or something like that. Just keep an eye on those posts. If we do, Stuart ever does post something up there, he might ask for an additional bit of help with someone.
The last challenge we did was a the poem challenge was a recommendation, which is quite a nice thing.
I think we did a couple recommendations.
Who suggested that?
Oh, we did.
Who suggested that? I'm joking, thank you for the support.
So like always, we thank everyone for donating or for being a member, which again is insane to me, but also just watching. I know people can't even sign up to a YouTube account, or they don't have any money spare. Why on earth would you spend it on this? But one thing you can do is just watch the videos or subscribe, like the video, if you comment, all that sort of stuff.
And tell people about it. Like, I think that's a big thing, that, because we always look at like digital footprint and stuff, but even like, tell your friends, I've been watching this YouTube channel, that's fun. That helps so much to get more people aware of it.
Remember the kid on what's his? I think he's subscribed to us on Instagram or on subscribe on Instagram. That's all I do. Or he might have been. I can't remember. I'm sure he's called that Alton Towers fanboy, but I might be wrong about that.
Lewis will put it on the bottom of the screen.
I know. I don't know. But I'm not sure if that is actually the right name either. But he's in the Wicker Man. The kid in the Wicker Man.
Yes,
Lewis saw. And he made his whole family watch it, and now they all watch it. I don't know if that's 4 subscribers. If not, guys, come on. To be fair, the subscriber number is nice. It's nice, the subscriber number, and I think as anyone who's on YouTube, we all get a little bit obsessed with it. But actually, what's way more important is just views, because you can have 1 million subscribers, but if no one actually watched your video, you wouldn't generate any revenue to then go into the next video. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what's way more important is just getting people to view it. And also just watch an ad. Maybe not watch all of them. I don't know, a lot of them must pop up, but just watch an ad. But that's it. I mean, it's weird to say now. I know we've still got a few weeks of it being released for everyone else, but that is it for season. That's it for season 2. The thought of starting that again and doing season 3.
Thought of doing the spreadsheet again.
Yeah, that was a banging spreadsheet though. The workings behind it. Thank you. If you got this far, I know a lot less people watch the podcast than the main season. Mostly because of Lewis's editing, probably. But I do really appreciate if you've got this far and you've watched it all through. Then thank you very much for supporting. Thank you very much for commenting, liking. If you've donated, if you remember. If we want to do season 3. We can't confirm anything. If we do, I've got one shot in my head that I want to get.
It needs to happen. It needs to happen.
It means the park would have to be very much on board with it, and there's a few steps to get through there, but yeah, that's it. Any more? I'm sure Luke says
just a thank you from us as well. Yeah.
No, thank you from Luke because he couldn't bother to turn up. But yeah.
I'll say thank you from me.
So it's open, season 3. There's a space open on Nikki's team.
Oh, don't say that.
Luke will hate that.
Luke will be spiraling now.
but this is another thing actually. Very quickly, I'm going to say it will change from time to time. We'll have different people on it. It will sometimes change. It will always stay the same because just getting Luke in for a podcast has hardly been possible. Let alone trying to get him to do 2 dates. And that's not because we're not paid. He has to go and take the paid work. It has to be. That's how it works. He works odd hours because he does filming and stuff. So it just has to be the way it is sometimes. So if he doesn't appear in the next one for whatever reason, then he might appear in the one after that if he's free. It's just that's gonna work. But yeah, I mean, I think he's good comedy gold. He comes out with some absolute melters.
Yeah, he was great addition.
And it was really nice to beat him. I'm not gonna lie, it was just so nice to beat him.
It meant that you had to beat me as well again.
I mean, that's sprinkling on top. Sprinkling on top. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to go
Thank you so much.
Hour 10 now. And we'll hopefully see you in season 3. If there is ever a season 3. See you later.
Bye.